All right, here we are. Speculation Sunday. First time we're trying this for Hytale. I know you guys have heard my voice before. I've been behind the scenes doing some stuff. Um, but, I wanted to just kind of do something a little bit more informal on a Sunday. Talk about Hytale. Maybe show you guys kind of what I do behind the scenes with some of the content that we make. It's a good place to talk about questions or hang out and just, have a good time talking about whatever you guys want to talk about. What's going on, everybody? Thanks for checking out the stream. First time we're doing this, so I know we don't stream a lot. Um, there's so many questions that we get on all these videos that we do for Hightail that it's so hard to keep track of all of them. So I just wanted to kind of start something, maybe something a little bit more regular, streaming with you guys, talking about Hightail. I hope you guys don't mind. I'm probably just going to cut out some Hightail images for future videos so we can kind of chat, hang out, talk about Hightail. You guys can kind of watch me work. If you guys have any questions about anything that we do, I'm always about sharing my creations with you guys. And if you guys want to be creators someday, I'm here to help you guys do that. So everything is going good for me. I'm just going to change the display over. Check it out. We're going to keep talking. I'm just going to keep working. I'm just going to pull up Photoshop over here. You guys can kind of see I've been doing a ton of stuff for the channel. We got the speculation thumbnail here. Doing a cool video coming up on Thursday for the most popular Steam games ever. We just put out a video this morning about Katana Zero, which is a really, really cool indie game that you guys should check out. But I know a lot of you guys are here for Hytale, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to do some Hytale stuff. I'm actually going to grab that that photo that they posted on Friday of the dog and cut that out. I don't know where the heck I put it. Maybe in Creatures? I think I put it in Creatures somewhere. There's a doggy. Where are you? There it is. Look at this little guy. He's looking great. My theory on release, man, dangerous territory. I know. Here's my thing. I told this to Nixon. You guys know Nixon from the channel. I said, last week or 2 weeks ago, they put out that development blog update, right? Where it was like, we're going to cut back on the blog posts. We're not going to really talk about the blog posts. And that's so we can focus on the game. And so in my mind, I thought of two things. The first thing was that they're really close and they're trying to get to the finish line. They're trying to finish up strong, or they're so far away from their goal that they need to rein it all back in so they can focus on the game. Now, I know those are kind of two wild ends of the spectrum, but I don't think they would do that. I mean, they made the conscious decision not to have a Reddit, not to have a Discord. They do some stuff on Twitter kind of on their own channels, but they don't actually do anything that official. They post their blog posts on their Hytale Twitter. That's it. So it's kind of on both ends of the spectrum. Are they really close and we could be expecting maybe a summer beta, or are they so far away that they need to bring all of their assets back to base? Did they release the trailer too early? I don't think they did. I think, and Noxie actually said this in the interview with me, they were not ready for that kind of reaction. They thought, I think he said that he thought 100,000 views would be great. But to be one of the top most viewed video game trailers in history, that's a big deal. And so that, I think, put a lot of pressure on them. And I think they made the right decisions to not do anything super crazy in terms of trying to manage a Reddit, trying to manage a Discord. Because here's the thing, they don't have a huge team, right? This isn't a AAA studio. They don't have the resources to be able to do that. Now, what it did do, though, was help them establish a base of potential employees, right? You guys saw that my friend 30 Virus, who you guys probably have seen some of his videos, he applied for their job posting, and they told him that, they got hundreds of applications, if not thousands. I'm not sure the actual number. And that's really intense, but that's great. That's awesome. That means we're going to get the absolute best people working on this game. And that's really important, right? Because we're all so excited about this game. And at this point, the hype has kind of died down, right? You guys see from our videos, we don't have as huge of a following checking out every single video. And that's fine because the hype has kind of dissipated a little bit. And the people that are left over are us, the hardcore fans that are so excited about this game. And I think it's a really good thing that the trailer did so well. I don't think they did it. They didn't do anything wrong. They got to release the trailer at some point. They released just enough information in the trailer to build the hype. And, you can't argue with the fact that 54 million or whatever the number is at now, that's successful. That's a big deal in my opinion. Do you know what percent of Hytale they've put out? I don't know what percent. I think they have been, the term is keeping things close to the vest. And I think they've done that really, really well. You know, the blog post for me as a content creator, is sometimes frustrating because, you know, we're all kind of covering the same material and we all want to cover different material so that we're not overlapping with each other. But at the same time, you know, that's how they control their messaging, right? A good company controls their message, and that's what they're doing. You know, and it was a little weird at first, you know, when the game first came out, kind of trying to figure out all the big players and who wants to make content, and, you know, everybody's creating their communities and their servers and stuff. So it got a little out of hand in that regard, but, you know, their hands-off approach, you know, eventually the narrative went back to talking about the game because their blog posts, and, you know, they had some interactions with communities on Discords and things like that. So yeah, they're in a really, really good 48 million. That is crazy. Hey, Codiak, I would love to make a channel similar to yours, making videos about gaming news and all sorts of stuff. I'm from Europe. I'm not really sure. Should I make my content English? You know what? I have no idea. I'm going to be completely honest with you. If I was, you know, a Spanish-speaking person, I would make my content in Spanish. I wouldn't try and be something that you're not. You know, we get a lot of European people watching our content, and, you know, there's probably an audience for content in your native language. You know, I think there's a Hytale Brazil channel. I know there's Spanish speaking video game news channels, and they do really, really well. Don't try and be something that you're not. That's, you know, I did the channel thing when I was playing World of Warcraft, and we tried to be something that we weren't. And it's tough to do that. You know, you want to be a content creator that's proud of what you're doing, and that means being who you are. You know, I see a lot of these big content creators that push out content day in, day out. And I would love to do that, but that's not right now. That's not who I am. That's not what I'm capable of doing. So, you know, I'm going to focus on Hytale, some of the indie games that we're covering, things like that. And I'm having a blast doing it. If you're thinking about doing it, you should 100% do it. Why are you outlining the creature? So I don't know how many of you guys know Photoshop. So right over here that you're looking at is Photoshop right now. And, so what I do on my thumbnails, you guys, I'll show you some of my thumbnails in a second. I always put an animal or a creature or a character on the thumbnail. So what I have to do that is actually cut him or her or it out of the image. So what I'm using is the pen tool here, and I'm actually just tracing the dog. And luckily, because Hytale is so, you know, blocky, it's super easy to do. So you can kind of see that I have this outline of the dog selected here. So if I just go up here and hit selection, it's, you know, it says make your selection. There you go. And then I can just mask him out. And there we go. We have a doggo. So it's a really, really easy way for me to kind of talk to you guys and also kind of work on content at the same time. So then all I'll do is I'll trim it. I'll get rid of all those transparent pixels. And I'm going to save this into my creatures. I'll do clipped dog 2. And there we go. Now we have a dog. So when I'm building my thumbnails, that's what I do. I actually just made the thumbnail for the chat thumbnail that you guys saw when you were coming in the video. So, you know, I have my pigeon here, right? So my pigeon is just a clipped out version of the pigeon. So yeah, what else do we have in here? What do you want them to do regarding pets? Would you want it to be complex or very simple like Minecraft? I love pets. I love collections. I want pets to be part of the experience. I want them to be part of us. I want them to follow us. I want to be able to pet my dog. I want them to be potentially protectors. I want them to help on my farm. I want them to do everything. I think pets are such an integral part of our lives as human beings that it would be great for them to be an integral part of our lives in video games. So that's just my personal experience. I know a lot of you guys probably have pets or like pets and, you know, would want something similar. I think Noxie just yesterday or the day before that said you are going to be able to pet your dog. So that's a big deal, you know. I am, Kiwi. I definitely am. You know, the blog posts were a lot of fun for us to do, but we still have 4 of the survey results videos to do, and we want to make sure we're giving them justice. We want to do that. Yeah, I want to make sure that we can still do those survey videos. I really like doing that. The fact that we had, you know, I think 880 responses on the latest survey is just the best thing for us because it gets so many great ideas right in front of us that we can talk about, that we can share. If you guys didn't check it out, we just did the travel video yesterday or 2 days ago, Friday. So that one was a lot of fun. Really, really fun. What will be the first type of content you will do when Hytale comes out? So this is Nixon and I have been trying to figure this one out. So me personally, I come from an MMO background. I'm a massive multiplayer online gaming type person. I'm an adventure mode type person. So you better believe that I'm going to be doing content on adventure mode. Hi Sneeka, what's going on? I'm going to be doing adventure mode content, guides, tips, tricks. If there's particularly nasty quests or challenges, I want to help you guys get through those dungeons. I love dungeon guides. I love boss guides. That is what I grew up doing for my World of Warcraft channel. I want to do that with you guys for adventure mode. In terms of creation stuff, I'm wide open. Honestly, I'm really, really wide open in terms of what kind of content we're going to make because we don't know much about the game. That's the most challenging bit, is that we still don't know enough about the game to be like, okay, we're definitely doing this thing. Yes, Brooks, we are definitely playing Hytale on this channel. My thoughts on Classic. So little known fact about me, I started playing World of Warcraft year one, about 2 months after the game came out. And I played World of Warcraft on and off up until the most recent expansion pack. And for me, most of the steps that they made along the way were really good. They implemented a lot of systems that made the game just better. And so for me, Classic is not something I'm looking forward to because they're going to strip away all of the things that they did to make the game more convenient to the player. And there's a line for me between convenience and oversimplifying. And that's the thing, kind of what we were talking about with the travel survey results video with flying. Flying is convenient, but does it oversimplify the game? And that's where I think that's where that line is. It's a very tricky line. And I know that the Hytale guys, Simon and Chris and all of those guys, all the way down to Thomas and the art team, are working on that to making sure that that the game's not too simple. What do you think of Immersion? I like to think of Subnautica as a reference. The sounds and effects can really fit into the game. You can check out 30. Yeah, so 30 does some great stuff about this, about Immersion and content. Subnautica, so another little known fact about me, I am terrified of the ocean. Subnautica, when the Epic Store put it out there for free, I picked it up right away. Like I know it, watching videos and stuff, it is one of the best games that has come out in the last 15 years. But Subnautica terrifies me. I couldn't even get out of the opening zone because the idea of being in an open ocean in a video game, knowing that things are trying to kill me, it terrified me. So I think that level of immersion is perfect, but it's just not for me. I'm hoping that I can get over that fear for Hytale since it's a little bit more cartoony. And I don't say that in a bad way. I just mean it in a truthful way. Yeah. Give me 1 sec, guys. I just grab a seltzer. I haven't talked this much on a stream in a few minutes. All right. Sorry about that. I had to grab something. Let's see. Expender, do you think they'll be able to do something during E3, like a big blog post or another trailer, perhaps? I think that would be smart because E3 is such a time when people are paying attention to video games. Is that guaranteed? Absolutely not. There's no guarantee that they're going to do anything around E3, not even a little bit. So, one of the cool things about Hypixel Studios is that their team is all over the world, and they can interact via Slack or Discord or something like that. But in terms of having a studio representation at a big event like E3, I don't know. They may try and capitalize on some of the hype, but other than that, I have no idea what they're going to do with E3. Do you think you'll be able to ride a dragon? My friend wants to know. That's the thing, right? We don't know. We know that dragons are in the game. We know that dragons are a part of the game, right? We ended the trailer with the Void Dragon, but we don't know if that flying is going to be a thing. We haven't seen any sort of flying in any of the blog post content, anything like that. Flying on dragons. We've seen some flying with the balloons and jetpacks or whatever. But other than that, we have not seen any sort of flying. So it's hard for me to say one way or the other. I think a lot of people are going to join Hytale when the game comes out. I really do. I think the team, if they can recapture kind of the hearts and minds of people with the launch with a new trailer, new content. I think all they need to do is put out another great trailer featuring a lot of the new content, kind of going through what they're going to be doing with the game, and they will gain all of those people back. 30 Virus, what's up, man? So in Photoshop, if you just joined, I'm just basically talking to you guys, cutting out characters while I hang out with you guys. I'm in a weird place in games. Like I was working outside all day yesterday, came inside, and I tried to play video games, and I was just tired. And I just didn't really want to do anything. So I figured today, it's Mother's Day, it's rainy out here on the East Coast, so I just kind of wanted to cut out characters, hang out with you guys for a little bit, and we could talk about the game and, anything else you guys may have questions about. So yeah, I'm cutting this guy out. I'm basically masking him so that I can use him for a future thumbnail. Oh, my seltzer exploded. Hold on, my seltzer exploded. Great thing about having a basement studio, you can kind of, stock yourself up with whatever you need, paper towels, drinks, whatever you need. Of course, it spilled all over my keyboard. Anyways. What is your prediction for the beta release? Talking everything that they said into consideration. Beta release, I have no idea. My hope and dream is that it would be this summer. Oh, I just totally botched that somehow. There we go. My hope and dream would be that it's this summer, but there's no doubt. There's no knowledge to suggest one way or another. So I'm just going to leave it at that. How will they manage fan-made content protected by trademarks like Star Wars, Marvel, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, etc.? That's a really great question. I don't know enough about the law, and especially in terms of like copyright material and stuff like that. A lot of it will be under fair use, but in terms of branded content, I'm not sure. There's so much fan content out there. Anything that gets big, that's usually where they run into issues, right? If there's a Lord of the Rings server that ends up being massive, that's when the Peter Jackson people or the Tolkien people will start to notice, and it'll become an issue. I know some people have already started doing some Star Wars content. Star Wars is owned by Disney now, so there could definitely be some tension there if something gets really big. I don't know. But yeah, that's always a possibility, I suppose. Griffins in Hytale. Yeah, I would love some Griffins in Hytale too. Griffin swim route would be a better method of travel. Oh, you mean like flight paths? I think flight paths would be good. I also saw a really cool idea for trains, and in the same kind of sense that trains would provide flight paths, but I kind of elaborated on that, saying that trains would also give players opportunities to kind of maybe do some mini games or do some other content within the train. I'm not sure what that would be, but it would be, quick enough that players could kind of hop on, do some content if they wanted to. That's the thing. That's kind of the conversation that I was trying to get going in that video, was what's more important, that journey or that destination? Where do you want, do you only care about where you need to go, or do you care about getting there? And I think both are important, but depending on what kind of player you are, you may be more interested in one and less interested in the other. So definitely going to have to wait and see on that one. Do you think Hytale will be secure? I sure as heck hope so. Yeah. So Matt brings up a good point about Hytale not straying far from the blog posts. And yeah, we kind of touched on that when we first started the stream. They really haven't, right? They haven't done anything other than, a couple of their personal Twitter accounts and the blog posts, and obviously the trailer release. So when they decide to eventually start a Reddit, I mean, I will tell you, they already have the name reserved. And a Discord, it's going to blow up very quickly. And if they don't have the means to manage that, I don't know what that means. Now, Ollie Pulse and Scott Bowen, who you guys may know from the Hytale Info Discord, they do a great job managing that. Obviously, there's been some little bit of drama here and there, but we're all just trying to figure out what we want out of Hytale. So, will they pull those guys in to help run it? I don't really know what the answer is to that. I hope that we can kind of all remain civil and kind of all be excited together for the game and not have any drama on the Discords or the Reddits or the whatever. But I also think it's a great thing that they haven't done that yet, so they can focus on the development of the game. Because development of the game is all we really should care about right now, right? The game needs to be perfect, or as close to perfect as it can be. No game is perfect at launch, because that's what's going to bring in all those new players, all those existing players that are excited about the game. So we're going to have to wait and see on that one. I like the idea of not doing it right now. I'll tell you that much. What would be your ideal PvP style? Well, the PvP really has to come down to the combat, right? I don't care what the PvP is until I know what the combat's going to be like. Now, we've already seen, some of the images in the trailer with him fighting the Trork where he's kind of slashing his sword. He brings up his shield. So is it going to be a simple point and click type system? Is it going to be a little bit more in depth than that? And, abilities we've already seen to kind of tie into the weapon or the items that you're carrying. So it's not going to be a class-based system. We've kind of heard that buzzing around. 30's actually talked to me about that a little bit, that they've confirmed they don't want a class system. So it's all going to be tied to weaponry, right? And we've actually seen, and I'll see if I can pull it up quick here, if I can find it within a few seconds, with some of the tooltips, right, that items are going to have those kind of special effects on them. I think I put it in UI, maybe. Let's see here. I got it here somewhere. There it is. Fire sword. Enemies that you hit have a chance to be set on fire. So that's tied to the weapon. It has nothing to do with the character's class or anything like that. It has everything to do with the weapon. Demonic axe. Consume the soul of your slain enemy, increasing your damage for a limited amount of time. It's all tied to the weapon. So that's fine. I like class systems. Like, I like saying that I'm an archer or I'm a rogue or I'm a whatever. Create new classes. I don't care. But them being tied to the weapons makes a lot of sense in this type of environment too. My seltzer is so cold, it's kind of like frozen into a slushy. So that's fun. Somebody said, what video are you preparing? I'm not actually preparing a video at all right now. I'm just cutting out some images for future blog posts or future thumbnails, things like that. So all I do is kind of go through all the images that I have and work to cut them out. So I try and find kind of the bigger ones here. Him exploring the cave. He may be a little too small for me. Yeah, he's a little too small for me. It's a cool picture, but what about a World of Warcraft server? Hey, if you want to make a World of Warcraft server, I will be there hanging out with you and probably make some content on it. So if you make a ball-in World of Warcraft server, I will be there. What would be the best magic system for Hytale? A complex one or a simple one? Being honest, I want something complex like AoE spells, summoning, etc. So magic is one of those things that everybody is super excited about, but nobody has an answer to, right? A lot of people in the survey results video for combat talked about magic being kind of related to the Skyrim system of magic, where you get spells, you can use them in one hand or the other. That to me is not complex. That to me is pretty basic, but that's just me. There are games out there where you have to like draw figures in the air to cast spells and long cast times, things like that. That's complex to me, but that's not fun. For me, that's not immersive. If I was in a VR environment and I could wave my hands around and cast spells, that may be something, and maybe we'll get there eventually. But for now, we're still limited by a keyboard. We're still limited with the screen in front of us and the mouse in our hands. So, Skyrim is a really good place to start. Obviously, the game is massively successful, but it's not, I don't know if it's the gold standard. I don't know if anybody's hit the gold standard yet. I think that all the videos on YouTube about Hytale, your interview Noxie for one, gives the most information. Yeah, I mean, I wish I could have gotten more information out of Noxie, to be honest with you, and I'll tell you guys this truthfully. It was the first interview that they had done. I had to kind of write out all my questions, and I had them. I gave them to Chris, who's their marketing guy, and I said, is this line of questioning okay? I wanted to make sure that I didn't put them in under any awkward situations where they had to say no to me constantly. And that's kind of what I was trying to avoid. As the first person to interview them, that was the last thing I wanted, was for them to be like, nope, can't talk about that. Nope, can't talk about that. I didn't want that. I didn't want it to be an awkward situation. I didn't want it to be a bad interview for you guys. I wanted you guys to get something out of it. So what would you like to customize your character? I mean, I want everything to customize my character. I want a transmog system where I can make my character look however I want to look while not ruining the integrity of the items that I'm using. Again, my experience comes back to World of Warcraft, and I think World of Warcraft's transmog system is fantastic. I want to be able to make my character look the way that I want him or her to look. And there's still so much we don't know about the other races, right? We already know there's other playable races in the game, but we don't know what those are. So there's a lot that we still don't know about. But that's exciting. That's part of the fun. I don't think Minecraft will ever die. I think, as we've seen from the Hytale guys. They have a great relationship, or at least a good relationship, with the Minecraft people, and they've been very civil through the whole process. I'm sure there's some tension there behind the scenes, but to be honest with you, they're going to be different games. You know, they're going to be different games, and they're going to provide different things to different people. Hytale is a platform for modders, developers, and people to create their own adventures. It's not just a game to build pretty buildings in. And I've tried to explain that in a couple of my videos to people, but that's what Hytale is. Yes, it's going to have a perfect, well, I say perfect. It's going to have an adventure mode and content for the rest of us who don't want to do that. But it's really designed for people like 30virus, who are going to make their own network of games and content for other people to enjoy. And Hytale does that, or Minecraft does that too. But Hytale's the next version of that, or the evolution of that. Doesn't mean that Minecraft is going anywhere. It just means that it's another version of it. Look how many voxel type games there are. There's Boundless, which was a Sony version of it. Let me see if I can pull that one up really quick. Let's see here. Boundless, right? So Boundless was an okay game. Played it for a little bit, but it's that kind of same vibe. Shape your citizen, forge your destiny, and sculpt the world in this epic voxel sandbox MMO built on endless possibilities. It's the same type of idea, just wasn't as successful. I used to play a game. It's not even on the Steam store anymore. It was by the people that made Fable, called Landmark. Let's see here. I have it somewhere. Landmark, which is the same idea. You can't even look at any content for it anymore because it's already closed. It was an EverQuest Next. The game was called EverQuest Next, and it ended up being called Landmark. There's a lot of survival games out there. So, just because Hytale looks a little bit like Minecraft doesn't mean that it is Minecraft, or that's going to kill Minecraft or anything like that. Covered wagons, transportation, and Hytale. I think trade routes would be really cool. Transportation is a big part of making a game feel immersive and successful. So I think some sort of like trade system within the game where, these traveling merchants, had these covered wagons and were going between cities or villages or whatever. I think that could be really cool. Definitely. Do you think they'll add the Battle Royale as a mini game? I don't know. I'm not a huge Battle Royale guy. So, obviously it's the flavor of the month, but depending on when the game comes out, it could not be the flavor of the month anymore. We've already seen a lot of Battle Royales kind of come and go quickly because people are kind of getting fatigued by it. Apex Legend being the exception, but even Apex Legend has kind of stumbled a little bit. They had a great launch, but yeah. I do remember Starbound. Starbound is a great game. Developed by Chucklefish, one of my favorite indie developers out there right now. They just put out a game called I forget what it was called. They just worked with Robotality on a game called Pathway, which is a really fun game if you guys like turn-based strategy games. Pathway is kind of a combination of Indiana Jones and XCOM, but in pixel sprite form. They put out Wargroove. That was the one I was talking about, Wargroove. What would be your ideal boss fight? Boss fights, I'm a boss fight snob. I think that boss fights need to be more than hack and slash. I think boss fights need to be team oriented. And I know that that's not going to be quite the case with Hytale because they've already said that the bosses in the adventure mode need to be soloable. So that kind of makes me a little sad. But, a good boss fight keeps a player on their toes at all times. It challenges a player to think critically about a situation and think through a problem and then act on that problem. If I can just run into any situation and kill a boss without really thinking about it, that's not a good boss in my opinion. That's a boring, lazy way to, drop some loot. So you're a writer for an upcoming Hytale MMO server. Nice. Looking forward to that. That's going to be cool. What are we listening to right now? The Shootist from Red Dead Redemption. Specific training to harvest specific parts for an animal. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I think the thing that I've always worried about with this game is that we have so many high expectations of it that hopefully we're not shooting too high. and that, obviously there's a lot of pressure on these guys to get the game right. It's not going to satisfy all of our needs right out, out of the gate. It's just not. And we have to be okay with that, and support these guys as they're trying to develop this perfect game. We all have this idea of what the perfect Hytale experience is in our head, and that may not be what happens right out of the gate. So we just need to remember that we have all these great ideas, and maybe they'll implement some, maybe they won't implement others for a variety of reasons. It's a small team. They don't have millions and millions of dollars. They do have backing by Riot, who you guys probably know from League of Legends. So financially, they're in a good place. But we don't know how far, that can take them. They obviously can't develop every single idea. That would be crazy. But yeah. When you say online market, Matt, what do you mean? Do you mean like are you talking about like an auction house type thing? Are you talking about something kind of like a living market space? Because I think that that's not going to be a thing. Yeah, because, an auction house type thing, in-game economy, that would be really difficult to pull off, at least in the base level game, especially with so many servers. Maybe there may be something server based, obviously modders can probably come up with something like that, but I'm cutting out the wrong thing. But I'm not 100% sure that's going to be in the base game. That's for sure. Have a store, their own currency. I don't know. I think that there will be some I don't want to say pay walls, but there will be some opportunities to spend real money on certain things. I'm hoping that those things are all cosmetic. And that's really all going to depend on what sort of model they end up using for Hytale's, how people will buy Hytale. Will it be pay to play? Will it be free to play? Will it be indie game model, which is like $30, $40? I don't know. I don't think it will be a $60 game. I think that would be ridiculous. But I don't think it'll be free to play. Maybe that's just my opinion. I don't think free to play is going to work with this game. I also hope they don't flood everybody with a million messages of buy this, buy that when you come into a game, because I really hate that about games. Yes, I think we're planning on doing some Let's Plays when the game comes out. We don't stream a lot. This is probably the first stream I've done in a really, really long time, but it's Sunday. I was kind of bored. I don't know if you guys think that I should do this every Sunday or every other Sunday or something. We'll do that too, because that would be fun. What kind of storage will you think they will go for? I think chests. I think you're going to be able to build all sorts of storage units, bookshelves, closets, things like that. And I think you'll be able to put stuff on shelves, things like that. Tinker Construct concept. What's so funny? I think Nixon's video on crafting very briefly touched on the Tinker concept, which is kind of an in-depth crafting system. I really hope that crafting is in-depth, and I hope that if it's not super in-depth in the base game, that modders come up with another great mod like Tinker Concept to make it happen, because I think people really like simple crafting, but I also think there are a lot of people that like complex crafting, where they have to build base materials and combine them to create kind of special materials that they can eventually use for specialty items. I think that's probably very likely. So, Hytale release 2019, 2020. I don't know. I really don't. I hope it's 2019. I hope it's before. I hope it's in the summer for the beta at least. I can't tell you when the first, the launch is going to be. Launch, I would bet, would probably be 2020. Maybe a beta in 2019 would be my guess, but not 100% sure. Definitely, Benjamin. One of the challenges right now is, the lack of content. So we did our first video with the roundtable, which is awesome. I loved hanging out with Livid Lion and Quebec's Corner and 30 Virus, and I want to do more of that. But right now, with so little information out there, we could talk about things like I want to talk about mini games with 30 Virus and those guys, because they play mini games a lot more than I do. But for right now, we're kind of staying in our lane, working on some other content, trying to gain some hype around some other games and things like that. So. Should we be expecting another interview with one of the Hytale developers? I don't think so right now. I think the way that it works, at least as far as I can tell now, you guys know I'm a small creator, nowhere near some of these other bigger creators. but they like to spread the wealth, right? They're not gonna just come to me for Hytale interviews. So I think the next interview, whether it be with Chris or Noxie or Simon, is gonna be another creator, and that's great. I think that is awesome because another creator should have the opportunity to interview them, ask them questions, talk about the game. It wouldn't be fair for just me to do it. It'd be great, it'd be fun, but that's not fair to the other creators, the other guys and girls who work really hard to make all this content. And there are a lot of creators out there. So, check everybody out. See who you like. Come back for more. You know what I mean? This guy is taking me forever. Look at all these points. This one is taking me forever to cut out. Some of them are super easy, like the dog. The dog took me like 5 seconds. This guy is taking me a lot longer. He's just got a lot of curves, a lot of, points I got to move around, which is kind of annoying, but that's all right. You can tell I don't stream much. My voice is already killing me. Oh, man. Where's everybody checking in from today? East Coast, West Coast, different countries? Who do we got in the chat? Did my chat freeze? Or is everybody just being really quiet? Oh, there we go. There they are. My chat froze for a second. West Coast, Utah, Nova, Israel, Russia, the Netherlands, Central Europe, Poland, California, East Coast. What up, East Coast? Peruvian dude, hyped as hell. Me too, man. Oregon. Thank you guys for checking us out all across the world. That is one of the coolest things, and I know it's super cliche. It is one of the coolest things about being a creator is seeing all of the people from around the world that watch our content. One thing that we just did, we gave away these awesome Stardew Valley prints signed by Eric Barone. Where's my camera? There it is. Signed by Eric Barone. And, the winners were from all over the world. And that is just the coolest thing in the world, to send things to Brazil, send things to Europe. It's just so much fun. It really is. Oh, I'm trying to edit this on my OBS. That's not going to work. What do you think the market demographic would be for Hytale? The more cartoonish style says a more younger group, but the core game seems more mature to me. Where do you think it falls? I think it's going to be older. Now, here's why I think it's going to be older. The generation of people, or kids, I should say, people, kids, whatever, who grew up with Minecraft are older. And obviously, there is a lot of crossover between Hytale and Minecraft. That age group is now in college or graduating college or getting close to graduating college. Obviously, there's still a lot of younger kids that are playing the game. So I think kind of what happened with World of Warcraft, the game aged and the audience kind of aged with it. I think if Hytale is successful, the audience is going to age with it. So I think we're going to see a lot of younger kids, but I also think we're going to see a lot of older kids like me. I'm 28 years old, and I'm going to want to be playing Hytale all the time. That's what I'm going to be doing for, days and weeks on end. And I'm not part of the young kids club anymore. So there's no snow where I am right now. Just a lot of rain. Do you have any ideas for upcoming minigames for Hytale for the Hytale community? I haven't played minigames in a long time. Last time I was playing minigames was Warcraft 3, like the custom games in Warcraft 3. So I really hope that, I know Sky Wars is a really fun thing, the walls. I'm interested in checking all of those out. I am as much of a Hytale Minecraft newbie as anybody else here. So I'm excited to kind of get my feet wet with all of the different mini games and check all of them out. I love defense games. I've always loved defense games, hero defense games, tower defense games. So I think that could be really fun. What I'm really interested to see is how mini games are going to reward players. Like, if you're really good at mini games or you play a lot of mini games, are you going to get something out of that, whether it be cosmetic or, things for your house or something like that? Look, we finally finished this guy. This guy took forever. But yeah, look at that. Nice and cut out. Not bad, huh? Let's see. We'll trim him up. Get rid of all those pixels, and we'll save them. This is our clipped Fenstalker. So yeah, there you go. First person balloons tower defense. That could be fun. That'd be something. I'm not in main. What feature do you want Hytale, or what features are you looking forward to? That's a tough one. So much all at once, but at the same time, I'm all about dungeons. I'm all about dungeons. I'm all about raids. I'm all about bosses. I want awesome boss encounters and awesome dungeons. I want to be able to help you guys get through dungeons, get through bosses. That's what I want, because I am from the generation of PvE content. I want to find a group of players. Maybe you guys can come hang out with us. I don't know if we're going to do a server quite yet, but hang out with you guys, tackle dungeons, tackle raids, or whatever, sort of group content there may be, and just have a great time doing it. That's what I want to do. +1 for me. There we go. You're my boy. I mean, here's the thing, Kiwi. There are going to be a ton of YouTubers that come over for Hytale. That's just the way it is. I hope that you guys will continue to watch our content, because we've been trying to stay with the game as much as we can throughout all of the news updates and stuff like that. But there's just some realities to it, like in the Littlewood. He's a fantastic YouTuber who has 1 million something subscribers. There's just nothing I'm going to be able to do in terms of competing. I say competing. I don't want to compete with anybody. That's not my MO. But, I'm going to keep doing my content, and they're going to do their content, and maybe some people will watch mine and some people will watch theirs. So the market is going to get flooded. That's just a kind of a reality we have to come to terms with, but that's okay. I'm totally fine with that. I don't mind sharing the limelight with people. I really don't. Yeah, Littlewood does some really good stuff. He's worth following. But the great thing is you guys can follow multiple people, right? You can follow me, you can follow him, you can follow both of us. So what mob, real life or fantasy, are you hoping they will add to Hytale? That's a good one. What mob? I'm trying to think of all of my gaming experiences. What type of stuff I'd want them to add. I'm interested to see with the zones 5 and 6, like the kind of the electric zone. I can't remember what zone that was. Is that zone 5 or zone 6? I can't remember. I really expect them to do some really cool electric animals, electric panthers. That'd be freaking cool. Sort of creatures that kind of are dark and shadowy, but also kind of brimming with electricity could be really, really fun. That could be really cool. Thanks, Carlos. Al Carlos. I appreciate that, man. Fake release date for April Fools. I think if they did that, people would have lost their minds. And I don't know if it would have been a good thing. So, yeah, I'm with you. Millennials, I want to explore the hell out of everything too. I really do. So, all right, let's see what else we can cut up here. I don't know what else I have that I need to cut out. Let's go blog posts. I cut out that. I guess I could cut out this guy. Yeah, we can cut out this guy. He's a little small, but that's okay. Yeah, Captain Sparkles, Dan, they're all going to come back, and they're all going to do content, and that's great. The more people that are hanging out playing Hytale, the better, in my opinion. Maybe they'll stumble across some of my videos, our videos, mine or Nixon's or Shale's, and, that's good for everybody. Cave dinos. Cave dinos are definitely happening. And I will show you. I don't know that definitively, but I'm pretty confident. This zone, where is it? Concept art. Where the heck is it? I always forget where the heck I put everything. Weapons. There it is. So this area here in zone 4, I'm almost positive that that's where the dinos are going to be. If you look really closely, I'll actually open this up in Photoshop so we can zoom in. If we look really closely, we see kind of these pool things underground. We see lava, and we definitely see some sort of rainforesty type thing. And that would be my guess where those kind of creatures are going to be. In zone 3, we've got kind of the ice zone, the Borea type zone. We've got these ice caves. There's going to be Yetis down there. There's going to be all sorts of stuff. But even base down here, this is kind of where I'm thinking there's going to be a lot of spiders and insect type creatures, things like that. Carnage, Hytale Oceans boggles my mind because we still don't know exactly how the world is going to be laid out. Now, we've heard some rumblings about concentric circles and, kind of zone 1 leading into zone 2, but zone 2 also being connected to zone 4. So are oceans going to be around everything, which means you have to get all the way out, or are oceans going to be accessible from the very beginning? Am I going to be able to go in zone 1 and just bust out into an ocean if I want to? That is really, really an interesting concept that I'm not 100% sure how they're going to pull off. As I mentioned a little earlier, I'm afraid of the ocean. So when I'm in an ocean, there's a good chance I'm going to be streaming just so you guys can hear me scream and act like, just the biggest wuss on the planet, because I hate the ocean. Oscar Garvin, their composer, he's going to be making some awesome soundtrack stuff for the oceans. The sound design is going to be on point, and that's what really gets me. If I didn't have to listen to the ocean or, be fully immersed in it, I don't think I'd be as afraid, but, I'm kind of a big scaredy cat. They said the circle thing is right. They did say that the concentric circle thing isn't how they want it. So, it's really hard to imagine right now how they're going to do it. I think there's going to be rules that kind of define where zones can spawn. And I think, let's see if I can find the picture really quick. I think it was in the biomes picture. Where is it here? I know I got it here somewhere. There was kind of a merging of 3 zones. I don't know if you guys remember that picture. Blog posts, points of interest? Nope, that wasn't it. Creatures, nope. Building with blocks, nope, that wasn't it either. I don't remember where it was. Anyways, the zones were touching. So that may be kind of a good basis for, as long as the rules of the zone, and I say rules very loosely, I don't know what the rules would be, they would line up, then maybe zone 2 will lead into zone 3 and zone 1. You know what I mean? So Matt, I don't really know. I'm going to be playing the game, and most likely I'll be inviting people to come play with me. I am all about playing with people when I can. The only time that it gets a little difficult, and as a creator, this is kind of frustrating, is that, when you're playing a game and you need to get footage for the game, I want to make sure that the sound effects are in there so that people can hear what's going on. But sometimes that means I can't be on Discord, or I can't be talking to people in game. So sometimes that means I have to go it alone, or at least go it to a point where I'm focused on the content and not necessarily hanging out with people. So it's kind of that, yeah. What is my intro song? You mean the intro song in the during the intro of our videos? I'll see if I can find it really quick. I think it's one of these ones right here. Hold on. Let's see if it plays. Can't remember which one it is. Let's see. I don't know if it's this one. Hold on. All right, so this is the ending one. Yeah, so Phantom Sage, When I'm Gone is the ending one. And then here's John Kenza. Hold on. I think this may be it. Yeah, it's right here. Yeah, so that's called Wicked by John Kenza. If you want to download that, I believe that was part of the No Copyright Team music. So it's a really cool song. I'll see if I can find it for you guys. I'll put a link in the description. It's a great song. I really enjoy it. Let's see here. John Kenza, Wicked. Yeah, here it is, right here. So if you guys want to listen to it, there it is. We'll listen to it right now. Will teleporting be a thing? Brooks, I have no idea. We just did the travel video. Teleportation was one of the things that came up a lot, I think 300 something times. I don't know if it's going to be a thing. Obviously, they had the image of that guy standing in front of the portal, so I think portals will definitely be in the game in some capacity, but it's hard to say. I have no idea. Hard to say. Guys, I'm going to hang out with you for about 10 more minutes. I promised my wife I would only do this for about an hour. But if you guys want me to do this more often on Sundays or Saturdays, hanging out with you guys, we could talk about the game. I definitely can do that. I definitely can do that. Different dimensions. Maybe. I mean, we already know that there's going to be different planets, right? We've seen, where's the image? I got to find it. We've already seen that there's other planets, right? Orbis, Nexus, Numdrassil, Torbalin, and Karpik. We know nothing about any of those things. So we just know a little bit about Orbis. So yeah, I think there's going to be other dimensions, other worlds. And I'm pretty excited about that, to be honest. Will they be as rich as Orbis? I don't know the answer to that. Other worlds tend to be used as kind of more like mini content, right? You go to another zone or another world and you do a couple things there and then you go back to the main zone, right? For them to develop 5 or 6 worlds all as thoroughly as Orbis would be a monumental task. Maybe they're that ambitious. I don't know. Hard to say. It could very well be DLC. It very well could be. I think that they are showcasing what their dream is, what their roadmap could potentially be. I do hope that the team puts out a roadmap at some point. Roadmaps for me are really important. They're one of the best things I think that's come out of the indie scene is, these developers saying, okay, this is our plan, letting people know what their plan is for their game. So I hope they do that. I hope it's not DLC. Not that I'm opposed to DLC, but once I buy a game, unless it's a subscription-based model, I kind of want new content to be free, but that's just my opinion. And I know some people differ on that. So I don't know what Sword Art Online is, but I'm definitely down for an MMORPG. All right, we got another little guy cut out here. Gonna have to cut out this intersection. There you go. That's our intro song. We'll go back to this. Cluckers, what's up, man? 48 viewers. Hey, man, it's better than no viewers, right? Yeah, I'm so thankful that you guys are hanging out with us today. Kind of just did this on a whim. I know I didn't really give anybody any notice or anything. I just kind of did it, and I'm super pumped that you guys all came to hang out with me. Any other questions? Any other questions that you guys have about, the channel or Hytale or, content creation, about anything, really? I don't care. I'm not really an expert in anything, but I'm happy to talk about anything you want. Here we go. We got a little sword guy. Oops. Can't spell. Look again at the zones on the planet Orbis. All right, hold on one second. I'll pull it up. Stream more. Benjamin, you got it, man. All right, hold on. I'm going to pull it up. I got to pull it up. Pulling up the zones. I think, where was that? In biomes, maybe? There it is. Nope, that was not the right one. Was it biomes? Concept art? There it is. All right, I pulled it up. Now what? Do you think we'll see a summer beta? I hope so, Mason. I really do hope so. I'm not positive, but I hope we see something in the summer, whether it be a big info dump or at least some inkling of when a beta could be released. Yeah, anything like that. I don't know when the next blog post will be. I thought that development blog post that they did about a week ago talking about how they're going to scale all that back was really, I would think it was a positive step for the company. I think they really should focus on the development of the game. with their new team members, making sure that everybody is on the same page with the game. The last thing that all of us want is a half-baked game. We want a full game that we can all enjoy and play. And granted, the game's not going to be perfect when it comes out. It's just not going to be. We have to remember that when the game does come out. But, you know, the more development they can put into the game, the better. So, let's see. My favorite expansion of WoW. Yeah, I've definitely been into WoW for a long time. My favorite expansion of the game, I'm going to say probably Burning Crusade, mainly because I was still pretty young at the time. I think I was still in high school, and that whole MMORPG thing was so new to me and so fresh, and the systems that they were putting into the game during Burning Crusade were so incredible that it is probably the high point in my MMO experience playing that game. It's when I really started raiding, doing all of that content, things like that. So it really was a special time for me. Do you think that there will be one thing per biome that's kind of separates it from the rest? Like one big monster per biome apart from everything else? Yeah, I think every biome has a story, right? We already know that there's kind of factions in each biome. So in Zone 1, we have the Chorks and the Quebecs. In Zone 2, we have the Pharans and the Skerricks. In Zone 3, we have the... I can't remember their name. The kind of like wildling type things. So yes, I think there's going to be this kind of push-pull type thing in each zone. I hope, and we haven't talked about this yet, and I don't know, maybe you guys have some thoughts on it in the last couple of minutes here. I hope that we can align ourselves with factions and that there's some sort of faction rewards, faction quests, faction rewards, faction adventures. That's really what I'm interested in. Are you going to do any vlogs? Kiwi, I haven't really thought about it. I never really saw myself as somebody that people wanted to follow. I just wanted to kind of make good content that people could use to help them or inform them or entertain them. But I never thought people would, you know, really be interested in my life too much. So I haven't really thought too far into that. I had an idea on the lightning zone not being in a set place, i.e. giant storms that roll through different biomes change. That's cool. The idea that like zone 5 would be kind of modular and could pop up anywhere. That's really neat. Actually, that's a really cool idea. Yeah, that's really cool. I like that. What do you think of events like in WoW, but more of a simple stuff where actual war starts, or maybe type big storm events? I think events are going to be a big thing. You know, they've done some images for Valentine's Day. They did an image for Christmas. So I think that team already is thinking about that. And I think they realize that there's a large casual player base that likes event-driven content. So I think that will definitely happen. Yeah. How do I assemble my thumbnails? Thumbnails for me, I found an image a long time ago that I really liked. So every thumbnail starts off looking like this. I have a template for my thumbnail. As you can see over here, I've got all my layers, and I just kind of change things based on what I'm doing. So everything has a subject, which is the top line here. Everything has a game, which is the second line. And then I try and do something specific or specific-ish on the bottom, so that you guys kind of have an idea of what I'm doing. So, you know, if this was a Hytale video, I do chat. I do chat, you know, Hytale, and what was this one? Speculation, right? Speculation. And then I kind of adjust it, you know, how I need it to be. You know, I'll go find an image and I'll pop the image in and I change the background. So there you go. If Hytale released the game after summer, they will lose amount of people. Yeah, definitely. I think they know that the audience for their game is going to be largely a school-age audience. So having content that reflects kind of the school schedule would be very smart. But anyways, guys, I'm going to call it here at an hour. I don't want to make these things too long. I want other people to be able to kind of pick up on this video later and check it out if they want to. If you guys want to do this again, we can plan on it next week. I don't know what time that will be, but we can definitely do some more streams in the future. Just, you know, I'll try and tweet something out or say something in our Discord next time we're doing it. This was kind of a spur of a moment thing. I just wanted to thank all of you guys for hanging out with us from all across the world. That's so cool to see where you guys are all coming from. Make sure you check out the survey results videos. They are so much fun to put together. And I had a really good time reading all of your responses. Make sure you comment on all the videos. Honestly, you guys are so awesome to hang out with. The Twitter is Game Gurus US. Game Gurus US. I'm not the greatest about tweeting, but I'm going to try and connect with you guys a little bit more through the streams and things like that. And yeah, just thank you guys for everything that you do for us. I really, really appreciate it. And I know the rest of the team does too. All right, fellas and ladies, we'll see you next time.